Hi, I'm Dr. Nicole Vane of Moonlight Beach Dental in Encinitas. Today I'm joined by Dr. Brian Stensler, the president of Dream Wellness and also the past president of the California Chiropractic Association. The reason for this video today is a subject I'm very passionate about, the overlap between dentistry and chiropractics for the treatment of temporomandibular disorders and actually for many bite issues that can manifest with patients.
As a chiropractor, we see a lot of people with TMJ dysfunctional issues. A lot of people refer to it as TMJ, but that's just the joint, right?
Yeah.
It's actually TMJ dysfunction, or temporomandibular dysfunction, as you said. And as a chiropractor, people are like, why would they go to a chiropractor for TMJ issues? Isn't that a dental issue?
What led me to meeting Dr. Brian or seeking his services was I am what's known as a clencher. And I also have a disc that clicks and pops on one side, and at times it can be very uncomfortable and lock open. I get headaches, not frequently, but when I do, I get headaches that either feel like pressure pushing behind my eyeballs, a tight squeezing on my head, sometimes so severe that it feels like I have a sinus infection, or I'll wake up with a feeling almost of fatigue in my face, like I've been chewing gum all night is the analogy I would make for it. So when we do a night guard, which is the dental aspect of how we treat these things, it has two functions. One, once your teeth touch the plastic, it actually shuts down the neuromuscular cycle to bring your teeth together, because once teeth meet, that stimulates the clenching stimulus or the grinding stimulus. We don't always know the source of those. It's usually stress-induced, but it also can be from the neck being out of position. So what really was powerful for me was how much relief I got by going to chiropractic. I started to correlate. Even on my own, I would know when I needed to see him if my occiput was out or my atlas was out. Those are the upper skull muscles and the upper cervical spine, which Dr. Brian will talk about. And essentially, the nerves for all these muscles of elevation, which are your clenching and grinding muscles, run through these upper vertebrae. So going to the chiropractor, what was really amazing was after some of these adjustments, when my neck was really out, I wasn't having neck pain. I was having the headaches I described. Literally, instantly, the minute my neck was righted into the correct position, my headache dissipated within 20 minutes. So instead of taking a lot of medications for it or just grinning and bearing it, I think a lot of people get used to having this chronic pain. They attribute it to being in front of the computer or I'm in a stressful job. And it really is just a simple matter of things not being in harmony.
Yeah. So what we've got here in the spine, this here is the skull. That's what we refer to it as, but I refer to this as the occiput, right? The base of the spine over here, the base of the skull. And then we have the top bone of the neck that's called the atlas. And this is a very important articulation, a very important joint and how they move together. And so what happens is when the atlas bone, the top bone of the neck, misaligns even a little bit, that can actually put pressure on the brainstem a little bit. Very little bit, but enough to interfere with the cranial nerve functions. And so the cranial nerve number 5 and number 7, those control the muscles of chewing. You know, the masseter muscle, the temporalis muscle, things that we were talking about before. So if we have any interference over there, then that could certainly create tension and not allow those muscles to contract and relax properly. Another thing that we have to look at is, we talked a little about forward head posture. When the head goes forward a little bit, all the muscles that are attached here into the occipital area, that are attached even below in the temporalis, in the temporal bone, right? There are tons and tons of muscles that make up that TMJ, that make up the joint itself. And so when you have forward head posture, it's going to cause pulling here, cause pulling on the forward, the anterior cervical muscles, and that's going to cause the jaw to misalign and to not allow proper function. You have very common forward head posture. I just wrote an article recently called Text Neck, a Modern Epidemic, that so many people, as they're on their phones, they're on their computers, they lean forward more and more and more, and your head is actually forward. You've got that forward head posture about an inch forward, where your head should weigh about 9 pounds. It effectively weighs 18 pounds. Your shoulders are holding up 18 pounds. Your head physically weighs the same thing, but your shoulders responding to it differently. And those neck muscles are also attached into the muscles that support the TMJ area. Just by having an imperfect postural presentation can actually create more tension and enable those muscles to tighten up a little bit, causing poor traction and connections between the jaw.
A night guard is something that can help alleviate the pressure on the joint and can help provide some relief. But it is temporary, it doesn't solve the problem. Right. And as a dentist, especially a holistic dentist, My approach is for the whole body. And unfortunately, I can't treat all of these issues.
If you want to go to a chiropractor that does a proper analysis, you can use what's called surface electromyography, measure the upper cervical, thermography, postural analysis. There are lots of different ways to determine whether or not you need to be adjusted or not. You mentioned that you go to the chiropractor for regular adjustments, maintenance care and stuff, but you only get adjusted when you need to be adjusted.
Yes.
So it's not like you go there and make an appointment for an adjustment. You go there for the checkup. Just like every time I come to see a dentist, I don't necessarily go to get cavities filled, I go to get checked and make sure that everything is appropriate. And so a good chiropractor will know, is that person in need of an adjustment at that given time? And if so, what type of an adjustment are they going to do? Is it the jaw? Is it the cervicals? And as you remember, when I adjusted your jaw the first time, I didn't actually adjust the jaw. I adjusted the occiput, the atlas, and then the surrounding area. And you're like, oh my God, my jaw feels better. And so when we do have to adjust the jaw, though, sometimes we do it manually, where we actually get in there and just do a very light little adjustment. But oftentimes we'll also use a little instrument called an activator or an integrator. It's a little tiny clicking instrument, doesn't hurt at all. It's kind of actually designed after a dental impactor, interestingly enough. So it feels like absolutely nothing. You can see here, doesn't do anything there, but it actually is very forceful in terms of the speed. So this way we can make a nice little adjustment there and it doesn't hurt anybody. It's not uncomfortable at all.
What types of symptoms do you typically see people having where you would then refer them to the dentist, or when the dentist refers them to you? What is their chief concern?
Well, for sure. So when somebody comes to me, if they weren't already referred to me by a dentist, then what we're going to look at is basically what's showing up in the spine and the nerve system. I always want to look at the nerve system first. That, to me, as a chiropractor, is the most important thing. If there's no interference to the nerve system, and I'm not seeing any misalignments that are causing that, that immediately is going to tell me I've got to get them to a dentist. Maybe a craniosacral therapist, maybe an acupuncturist, maybe even get some coaching, life coaching or psychological help to deal with stress management. The night guard that we were talking about is a very good crutch as a temporary thing, because if they're chomping, if they're chewing, and they're constantly grinding their teeth, then they might not even hold their adjustments. So that's a great time to say, okay, look, we're working on the TMJ area, the cervical area, you're not holding your adjustments. Let me send you over to the dentist and let's get you the night guard if that's what the dentist thinks is appropriate. And this way you can hold your adjustments longer, get everything to stabilize, and then hopefully you won't need that night guard much longer.
I really hope that you've gained enough information from this video that if you are having frequent issues, it can be as simple as constant shoulder pain and tightness, limited range of motion, turning your head, frequent headaches, or if you're someone like me who really notices a lot of facial tension and fatigue in the morning after a nighttime of grinding, I would encourage you to see a dentist who's familiar with a lot of these issues, who has a network of trusted referral partners, such as a chiropractor, who can help address the cause of the issue, not just palliate the symptoms.
And of course, if you happen to go to the chiropractor first and you're thinking that these are chiropractic issues, make sure you go to a chiropractor that also has a trusted referral source, because I send a lot of people to dentists locally. And I do have a network of chiropractors all over the world. As you mentioned, I'm the past president of the California Chiropractic Association, and we have locations in California, some in New York. And so you can always contact Dream Wellness to find a reliable chiropractor that knows how to do the proper types of analysis and techniques, and the ones that work with dentists and other healthcare providers to get to the cause of these problems.